Didn't realize sometimes when you go to hit the live, actually, it always feels like it takes a couple of minutes, but clearly not today. So hopefully you can see everything clearly. So some of you will end up watching this likely on later stream really rather than live stream. And if you notice, this is Spelga Dam. I started this in the watercolor class this week, and I quite liked it the way it was, but as I looked at it over the week, I thought, no, there's more that I want to do to this. So here's, I just printed this off on my wee Kodak, but look, I did it from a screenshot, and it caught the, you know, whenever you do a screenshot and it shows you little things like the volume, and anyway, I thought that was quite amusing. Okay, so we shall set that there. I just need to get set up, and I need to plug in my hair dryer. You'd think if you were doing a live, you would be organized, eh? So to the one person who is watching so far, you're very welcome. Thank you for tuning in. Now, is he organized? He nearly is. We keep it real here at Woodward's Watercolors HQ. We keep it real. Okay, now let me get this bit organized, and then we truly are absolutely not really good to go. Now, if I don't have this bit organized, then I'm not able to read whatever comments there might be, which would not be great. So let me get that organized. As I said, Colin could have been much more together and had all of this done, but sadly he wasn't. The intention was to get online and get live, and that is what we have done. Okay, so just opening this up, and hopefully it's going to let me see whatever is going on here. Okay, brilliant. Now I should be able to see whoever is online here. Hopefully the volume is way down. It is. Okay, tremendous. So what I'm going to do is I want to finish off this painting. Hi Sue Goodread, and hello Barbara. Barbara from the North Coast. Oh, hello, how are you? It's been, goodness, it was August that I was with you. Where does the time go? Okay, so let me get up my, I actually was using this brush a couple of days ago. This is the SAA Flatmate. Now I think it is, this is where he goes all nerdy. And if he has a ruler, which he doesn't have a ruler, I would reckon it's probably about ½ an inch. And I'm loving using the Nutella jars for water. Just really nice to be able to see whether the water is going to be affecting the paint that you're mixing. So there's my 3 lifts. Good afternoon, John. Okay, so John, as you can see, John's part of the class. As you can see, John, I decided to add a little bit more to this. I've got roughly about 25 to 30 minutes here today, so hopefully we can get some stuff done. Okay, so do I want to mix in? Do I want to mix in just a little bit more? Now this is nice. This mix, we're going to just build up this mountain here, and it's really quite nice. I'm just back from recording a video there and had my first drone crash, which was not the best moment, but everything is okay. Just finding thorns in my various body parts. After having crashed, it wasn't the best idea. Okay, so in these lives, I always say the more comments, questions, statements, is also comments, the better that they tend to be. So don't hold back, ask your questions. I shall try my best to answer them, and I will be honest if I can't. Yeah, John, for some reason in my head, I imagine that you're always painting all the time, but clearly that is not true. So just getting some yellow ochre here and some burnt umber. Just wanted to build up this section underneath. Now I've kept the paint really quite weak and diluted so that I can just begin to build up these layers here. It's lovely, those sort of spring colours that you get because of the golden light. And this photograph of Spelga Dam in Northern Ireland was taken in just one of the most glorious days. It's back from, I think, it's either 2022 or 2021, but I think it was 2022 anyway. Just a lovely shot of a beautiful area. So if you can see, this is my passionate love for the flat brush and just being able to use it on its side here and just use it to kind of build up. And just for the, you know, for larger, obviously I'm getting this mark whenever I just hold it there, but I can obviously elongate that as well. And I can pull the viewer in by, you know, communicating that there's actually more reads, you know, if I just continue to build this up on this side here and be patient with the build up. And I've got my hairdryer plugged in, so I can keep going. Oh, we have 11 people. Do all 11 of you type in and say hello? Be good to know who you are and what you're up to this afternoon and what brings you on. If I'm a distraction to a boring Friday afternoon in work, I am delighted to be so. Good to have you. So just added in there some sap green to the mixture of yellow ochre and burnt umber there. Is it helpful to know what colours I'm using? Does anybody find that of benefit? Do you ever think, oh right, okay. Oh, down to 7. I scared them away because I requested people to share what they're up to. Or maybe their bosses just walked in. Right. Gonna want to mix a much darker tone here for these the trees that are standing in this corner here. So at the minute the colour that I have is Watercolour Aussie from Glastonbury. It's funny, you know, because obviously I'm not from Glastonbury. Whenever I hear Glastonbury I think of the festival, and then it's bizarre when you think that people actually live there, because you get to know a place for what it brings to the world, don't you? Hope Glastonbury is treating you well. So just bringing in a little bit more detail. I've said this before, now that's bled through and that's okay. That with watercolour you can either, you know, darken a colour or just build up the same colour in several layers, and that's going to give you that idea of layers, you know, or depth and shadow and all those kind of things. So I assume that everybody's really just waiting on the weekend. And you turn the brush around a little bit this way, just to give me some different and variation of lines here. Okay, now, so the water, let's move to the water now. Just want to be careful because I've gone quite close to the water's edge here. So I'm actually glad to be working on this again. When we were in the class, it was nice to leave it just as simple as that, but just in looking at it I thought it needs a bit more. Ava Brikuleli, am I right? Hello from Germany. Just sketching a bit along. Oh, tremendous. Do send it to me afterwards. I would love to see how you get on. Okay, actually let's not go to the water just yet. Let's go across to the bit of the mountain here. So I'd used some real purple actually nearly in the shadow, so just blend the brush out there. Really nice to work in some different colours for this. And also what's going to be really nice is the minute that I put this on, this is going to hopefully demonstrate layering really well, because the green on top of that kind of purpley browny tone is going to really mix quite nicely. Okay, so we've got that bit done. Now, do I want to add in, it'd be really nice, really want to darken this now. The only thing that's happened here, oh, ladies and gentlemen, we have a bleed. This is one of my newest additions to the toolkit. Just little sponges, got them from my beloved Sea Red of Bright. Okay. So what I want to do is grab this bleed that's now streaming right across where I had put in some colour before. I've squeezed off the brush and I can effectively cauterize that bleed there. Hey Simon, how's Italy today? What I can do then is just to dab and grab. just lift it off there, and it's not going to bleed too much. I mean, bleed's okay. Well, so much of watercolor teaching is the wet on wet, and I don't work like that, but the bleed can be really, really effective. So let's just get this for the water. Okay, so that's quite, so I've used the phthalo blue there, but I'm really going to need to calm that down. I'll use just a little bit of cadmium or cerulean, can't remember which one that is. And we're going to, so that's still wet, so this is like, we just need to be careful in this little channel here. And just using this kind of, so what I can do is just take that right across there and drop in some more pigment just to colour that area. There is that little bit of gap just between, if you can see here, just this little gap along there between where the dam meets the mountain. So Simon, you're saying good, just taking a break from work. How are you? Lovely painting. I'm doing well. I was out painting today, doing a YouTube video there in my hometown in the local duck pond, which is actually called Kultonga. Isn't it funny how you know things, you know, quite functional titles for things, and it's really strange calling it Kultonga, but that's what it is anyway. It's in Newtonard, so it was pretty cool just doing that. I did manage to crash my drone though, which wasn't the best moment, but what I really fully appreciate is that DJI drones are good, and therefore they do take a bit of a beating and take it quite well. So okay, so going to mix the shadow, gone for the phthalo there. I want to take some more of that ultramarine. Now I'm going to add in some Indian red to darken that down. I think that is going in the right direction. Just, it's to try and get this darker shadow, because yeah, that's good now. So the water at this point on this side goes really, really, really dark, and it's really tempting to leave that out because you can feel at points like this that you're just completely ruining the thing. But actually, I think courage is required here, dear heart. So let's make sure that just letting some of that blue come through, and I'm going to let that pull, and then we'll take it right to the edge here, and then just sort of dot it across. Yeah, okay. And what I'm going to do is drop lots of pigment on there so that just pulls. Okay, so I need to just do one wee thing here. So questions, comments, what are you working on yourself? I would love to see the person who was saying that they're sketching along. I would love to see what you're doing and how that's going. Now, I'm just checking something here. Okay. The joys of having WhatsApp on your laptop and you can then respond. Okay, so right, so this is the point that we've reached. So we need to now think, right, is there anything else that we can do at this point without it being dry? And I think the answer to that is no. So the one thing that I haven't done is gone over the sky. Now I have to say, I don't tend to go over a sky, but with this one I might be very tempted because we've got this kind of ugly sort of cauliflowering that's happening, and it would be nice to correct that. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to mute for a moment, get this dry with a hairdryer, and then we can proceed. Okay, thank you for your patience. Now, I think so. We've got some. There's some little areas that are still a little bit wet, and one of the bits that I really appreciate about being able to tell with watercolor is if you have a light source, then you can see the light bouncing off the any areas that are still wet, which gives you some sort of a steer. If your focus is that you, like me, are not wanting to have you know, the wet on wet effect. Now, with the sky here, I am sorely tempted to do another layer, which I don't normally do, but what I am going to do to be able to do that is lift a bigger brush. So I'm going to break my rules here. Ozzy says here, I love the sky, thank you for that. David Zeman says, I've painted this many times as practice and I'll be interested to see this version. Aha. So you've seen this. Have I done this before? When did I do this somewhere else? I know that we've done it in the class, but sorry, I'm just getting the lifts here of the water. Many times. I've done this many times. Oh, I need new material. So just going to go for probably straight cerulean blue on top of this. I don't know whether I'll try to, you know, let some of the light poke through. I'll actually put in some ultramarine as well. I find that the cerulean and the ultramarine together are just really, really nice mix. Now, with that amount of water that I have here, I'm in danger of the same thing happening. Although I wonder with a second layer, it's probably much harder to get a cauliflower. David says, you've painted it before and had it on Etsy or elsewhere? Yeah, probably have. My Etsy is rammed. So just lifting generous amounts of watercolor here. To try and bring a little bit of settling to it. Now the other thing is, yes, look at that, that's great. So just that little bit of moisture, just some slight agitation is going to settle those cauliflowers right down to a level that I am more happy with. Okay, so just the slightest amount. Just the slightest amount. Isn't it amazing? I find it quite wonderful that watercolor is faithful in its way of being waterproof, you know, as in you can layer up, and yet with just a little bit of agitation you can lift some areas ever so slightly. Now I like this jaggedy line here, that really fits with how I like to paint in watercolor, so we're happy with that. And I just want to, you know what I could do actually, that while I've got this on my brush, and while this is dry as well in that area, that's great, pleased with that. Another flat brush. Have we got any flat brush converts since you've been listening to me prattle on about how good they are? I mean, aren't they just phenomenal? Dave says, looks good to start, thank you for that. Well, that's a great way to correct blooms. Yeah, I didn't know that it would work. And it's going to turn out beautiful how you corrected those blooms. Yeah, that's a new one on me. So I think that, you know, that what I am really learning, the more that I do this, the more that I keep painting and keep going, is that, you know, you need to be free to experiment and to try and to see what works and what doesn't work, because it's the only way you're going to figure this thing out and figure out. Seems to be, are we actually connected again? Okay, it's saying that we're connected again now. Let's see what's happening. Hopefully, do you know what? And we're back. Good stuff. So I was just saying that the whole thing is actually a little bit electric for me. So let's just keep working on this and see if we can settle this down. Now, maybe you like electric, and maybe it's because I've been using those Koh-i-Noor, the brilliant watercolors, and that's been, you know, I'm starting to feel a little bit more comfortable with things that are much darker. I'm just checking now to see that we are still actually online. We seem to be. Okay, so and also over here, let's make this a bit darker here as well. And just notice the shadows in that mountain across there. Okay. Now, I wonder, can I get away with... Let's go mix between these two tones that I had mixed already and see if that's going to give me a nice... Yeah, it is. That's nice. Just being careful about going to where the sky is. Okay, so has it maybe died again on us? Oh, I don't know what's going on. Sorry about that. Don't know what happened there. YouTube just decided to throw me out. So just want to lift some of this, the colour that's going nuts there. And you use the sponge just to collect some of that. Yeah, that's good. So that's gonna begin to lift a bit more. Yeah, good. And we're not then gonna end up with the crazy cauliflowers that happened the last time. So really, and also that, look at that model effect that you get with the sponge too, which is quite nice. Okay, good. And that again settles down the sky. So that's tremendous. Good, good, good. So I'm happier with that, happier that the sky is, actually the texture is quite nice just in using that. I want to continue to build this up a bit. I don't know that I'm going to add much more to the sea. Sorry about that live going off, no idea what happened there. Want to try and darken down the trees over here, and let's get more yellow ochre. The other good thing about the wee sponge is you can just go into your palette and just clear it up really quite nicely, and it'll suck up anything, which is just a brilliant wee tool to have. I bought a pack from the Sea White of Brighton guys again. If you want a discount code, speak to me and I will give it to you. Okay, so let's get the yellow ochre going for the foreground there. Bring in a little bit of my, oh, like that. So yellow ochre and Indian red, and we're into the world of Turner a little bit. Now I wonder, could I drop this down a little bit and it will let you see it a little bit more clearly. Just you won't see the palette quite as much. There we go. How's that? Is that better? And I maybe need to stick on another light. There we go. That should make it all that bit brighter. Okay, so we're going to use this just to bring in this area here, and there's actually some really nice... Yes, that's good. Happy with that. Just allows me to build up that foreground a little bit more. Now, I actually don't mind if it touches those little bits that are wet there, but let's just continue to... I want to really bring it up to that, to the water's edge. Just gonna see, bear with me 2 seconds. Okay. The camera from down ever so slightly. Just want to get it so it's nice and level, so you're all seeing it. There we go. As he fiddles around. I'm just gonna do some more grass work. Can you see the benefit of the flat edge? I don't know why. You know, whenever you have just a round edge brush, you are so limited, and also you don't have as much ability. Well, I mean, obviously you can do it, but it doesn't feel like you have as much ability to do the sweeping kind of colours. Now, the other thing that I want to do, which I wouldn't normally do, is use a little bit of cadmium to make it really nice and bright for just a couple of these areas here, because it's going a bit nuts there, isn't it? Okay, pleased with that actually. The addition of the cadmium is quite interesting. Now, the other thing is that in the middle of these trees, there's actually some, there's there's stuff coming through the middle of those trees, so I don't know whether it's really that critical that I get that, but it is something that I've noticed. So the other thing that I want to do is bring a sweep of that in here just to lighten gently that area. Now let's use a little bit of this tone, a bit of this one, just to bring in a little bit more definition across this part of the mountain. And then bring that across to there. I'm just going to darken it down. Okay, you've all gone very quiet. How are we doing? Questions, comments, keep them coming. Another couple moments and then we're going to have to, I think, finish the live. We really want to try and advance this one. I'm pleased with what we've done with this. You know, I think that it was interesting, that moment where it feels like it's, you know, for me, getting out of hand. The colours being so vibrant and just being a little bit uncomfortable with that, and then trying to dull that down again. I think that's, you know, it's getting it to the place where you're happy with it because it's your painting. So just trying to drop a little bit in there. That's good. Pleased with that. Now do we want to just communicate the water carrying on behind there. Now what I can do as well is lift that again, just drop that down and then lift it so that it is slightly staining the water. I've just rinsed off that. So it's just the slightest little echo that there's water going through there. I'm pleased with the, you know, it has that nice sort of feeling of tessellating shapes kind of coming all together, which is something that I really aim for in what I'm doing. Don't know why, I just do. But it's touched on that, which I really like. So, and I think it's really important that you like what you do. You know, you don't want to keep coming away going, well, you know, the way somebody told me to, but I don't actually like it. It needs to be something that you're pleased with in the end, or else you're just not going to enjoy. Now there's this line here. That's a little bit too defined. Shrink that so we've got the, there we go, so it softens it in a little bit more. Okay, so the last thing that I want to do before we finish this here is the trees. Sorry, just reading a message there. So getting the greens. I want the greens to be really darkened down, so touching that phthalo. I'm going to go with black on that phthalo actually. Don't know whether that's too, it's brown we need. If we go black then it doesn't quite make it. And that might, well, it's risky putting that on. Let's go back to the greens here. Okay, let's see if that does it. Is that dry? It is, yes. Oh, yes, pleased with this. Oh, it's alright. Just want to swallow up some of those gaps in those trees because they are too dominant for me, because it feels like those trees are a wall, you know. Thank you for those of you who have persisted with this live. I do apologise. Thanks for all your comments, folks. I'm going to call it a day there because you're bound to be as irritated as I am with the instability of the connection. So anyway, thankfully we did get it to its conclusion, and you can see the stampers there, just Spelga Dam, all finished. And as always, thanks for all your encouragement. For those of you who have just logged on and you're catching the end of this, it will be up later. and you can message and leave comments underneath. Dropping a new video tonight from painting plein air in Kiltonga, so do have a look at that, and again, do like and comment. That would be tremendous. Okay, thanks everyone. Bye.